The animals climb back into their dens. And we take those behaviors and modify them slightly for the shows so children learn to understand and appreciate those behaviors that otters normally perform. They swim in the show. They would do hunting like that in the wild.
Huh.
Their body is actually streamlined shaped, and their feet are webbed. They're webbed so they can displace a lot of water and swim much quicker. And the fur, of course, is the most important thing. They have 2 layers of fur. We have a very thick layer underneath. It actually keeps them dry. Even though they're in the water, their skin never really gets wet. Hunters could go right up to them, and they used to club them for their fur and skin them. They have very, very thick fur. The North American river otters were completely wiped out in Ohio back in the 1950s. The reason is because of habitat loss and also because of the trapping. Of course, many of these problems are all man-made. It seems to be that way across the board for most species.
Ted, it seems like the otters are endangered all over the world. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I don't really know what's going to happen. There's a lot of efforts underway to try and save these animals, but hopefully our contribution can be teaching these people to appreciate these animals by seeing them in the show, and hopefully they can care a little bit more and do some things to help save them.
Coming up on Zoo Life. Zoo Life with Jack Hanna continues.
The Waikiki Aquarium was founded in 1904. Its mission continues to be to help people of all ages understand, love, care for, and work to protect the life of the ocean. This is a rare Hawaiian monk seal, just one of many animals found here. There you go. Yeah, see there. Located at the west end of Waikiki's famous beach, the Waikiki Aquarium houses over 250 species of marine life. Visitors come from all over the world to see the great diversity of sea life on display here. Most of it native to these Hawaiian waters.
What is that little striped thing?
That looks like it would be an eel, sweetie.
They see abundance and beauty, mysterious creatures, and the drama of marine life. And they see an incredible variety of tropical fish, some as brightly colored and beautiful as the islands themselves. Others look fantastic and just plain strange. Curator Ken Yates took me on a tour of some of the strangest.
This thing right here looks like a rock. That's a Titan scorpionfish, and it's supposed to look like a rock. It's an ambush predator that stays in the bottom around rocks, and it has a mottled appearance and kind of a lot of knobs and bumps and hooks and leafy things, so it looks like the rock. And
So it's camouflage.
It's really well camouflaged. Its strategy is to look like a rock, remain still like a rock, until food comes by within close enough range. Then its huge mouth and its quick sucking action allow it to be able to suck in its prey item very quickly.
Golly, what kind of a fish is that?
Well, that's one of 3 different species of fish we have in here.
3?
Yeah, we've got 3. Now, they're hard to see.
This fish here looks just like a piece of leaf or something.
Well, it's actually trying to simulate a piece of algae. It moves back and forth like a piece of algae would move in the surge. In the ocean, these animals live pretty shallow, so there's a lot of surge. And also, it looks like a piece of algae on the rock. It has small filamentous algae growing on it itself. So that helps complete the camouflage. It's really hard to tell that it's a fish.
Now, where's this other fish? I don't see it anywhere.
Well, see, I'm going to give you a hint. If you look over in this corner, look for something moving.
Oh, there it is, down in the gravel there.
Yeah, see, the only thing you can see moving is its eyes.
Looks like a flounder.
Yeah, it's related to flounders.
Well, its eyeballs just turn all the way around.
Yeah, it can do almost between both of its eyes, kind of up on stalk somewhat, and turning them around. It can almost do a 360 view, and that's the idea. It looks all around it without having to move itself.
Amazing.
Some of the adaptations that these fish have are incredible.
Now, what are those big, ugly-looking red ones?
Well, those are strange-eye scorpion fish, and they're kind of ugly because they look like a rock. But, of course, another strange-eye scorpion fish is probably gorgeous.
All the fish we're watching here are ambush fish. And do they rely on speed to catch their prey?
They rely on speed only when the prey come within range. Otherwise, they stay still, and they blend in with their surroundings, with their habitat, and sometimes actually do behaviors that are also camouflaging as well.
So they rely on their camouflage?
On the camouflage until the prey come within reach, and then on extreme speed to be able to strike and swallow their prey.
One of the most beautiful and mysterious of marine animals is the chambered nautilus. Until recently, very little was known about this deep water cousin of the octopus.
Nautilus is the most primitive of the cephalopod mollusks. The cephalopods are the octopus and the squid and the cuttlefish. They're quite extraordinary creatures, but among that whole group, the nautilus is the most primitive, and it is an ungainly sort of an animal. It doesn't swim very fast, and yet they're using a propulsion system like jets. They shoot water out of a funnel, a siphon-like arrangement near the base of the shell. When they shoot water out, the animal is propelled backwards. Well, you'd think they could only go backwards with a system like that, but in fact, this siphon is very maneuverable and can turn around under the shell, and they shoot water this way and they'll move forward. So actually, they're very maneuverable. They can go up or down, forward or backward. Nautilus is probably a scavenger and very opportunistic. If a dead animal, a dead fish, happens to wind up on the seafloor at a depth of 1,000 feet, the nautilus will pick up the scent, they'll find it, and they'll start feeding on it.
Researchers here have found that given the right conditions, a female nautilus produces an egg every 4 months, and it takes a year for one of them to hatch. They hope further research will unlock other nautilus mysteries.
It's a mysterious, bizarre animal from the past, and no, I don't think you could ever get tired of studying it.
Introduce me to some very interesting characters. Meet Gordo, the feisty Humboldt penguin, and E.T., a baby green sea turtle. I lost track of names at the 300,000-gallon reef tank. There are over 4,000 marine animals of every size and shape in here, including hammerhead sharks and giant sea turtles. Down at Whalers Cove, I visited a 70-foot replica of a whaling ship and watched bottlenose dolphins perform underneath the great frigate birds. And at the Sea Lion feeding pool, everyone tries to meet the vocal demands of these California immigrants. I was happy to learn Sea Life Park also has several exhibits connected to endangered species survival efforts. They maintain the only captive breeding program for endangered green sea turtles in the United States. And along with the National Marine Fisheries Service, they rehabilitate Hawaiian monk seals.
Because it's hardly changed in 15 million years, the monk seal is sometimes called a living fossil. But all those years of survival mean very little in today's developing world. Several thousand of these primitive seals once lived throughout these islands. Today, there are only 1,500 left.
Shy and elusive by nature, monk seals avoid contact with people. They live on the small, uninhabited northern Hawaiian islands that extend out into the Pacific Ocean 1,000 miles. They spend their days mostly resting or sleeping on shore. When hunting at night, they can dive to 400 feet and spend up to 20 minutes underwater. Hawaiian monk seals are not small. Males can grow to 8 feet in length and weigh as much as 500 pounds. Females make devoted mothers. They nurse their pups for 5 or 6 weeks, never leaving their side. But if they're disturbed, say by people approaching them, they will desert their pups. This is when Sea Life Park gets involved.
The program at Sea Life Park was initiated a few years ago to help us try and salvage, basically, pups that would have died if they were left in the wild. And we manage this by collecting the animals we identify as weaned, left by their mothers too small to survive.
All monk seal pups, after being weaned, have to learn through trial and error how to feed themselves. And this can take as long as 2 months. The abandoned, undernourished pups can't survive this learning process. So Sea Life Park feeds them by hand until they can be released back into the wild.
The goal of our rehab program with the monk seals is to eventually reverse the process that's been happening in the wild, where you have 1 female now to every 4 males. We would eventually like to get that population stable and just getting the monk seals off the endangered species list.
All but one of the animals that's been released from the park here is alive and doing well in the wild. And some of the animals from early in the program are reproducing and having pups of their own now. So the program is a real success in that sense.
For some cultures, a sea turtle is practically a grocery store. One-stop shopping for oil, leather, meat, eggs, and the shell, which is used for tools and ornaments. Because of that, the green sea turtle's life is in serious jeopardy. Here at Sea Life Park, there's a unique program that's bolstering the green sea turtle populations in the wild.
Since 1976, more than 1,500 turtles have been hatched and released here at the park. The Turtle Lagoon exhibit features an artificial beach, which these turtles actually use to lay their eggs. The green sea turtle can grow to 400 pounds and live as long as 150 years. Unlike some turtles, the green sea turtle can't retract its head or legs. They're slow and cumbersome on land. But in the water, they're graceful.
And he was hatched here at the park about a year ago. I actually dug him out of the nest because he was too weak to make it. And
So he was about the size, what, of a quarter?
oh, bigger than a quarter. He weighed about 2 ounces. He was just a little smaller than the other turtles, but he was weaker.
You know,
He was really cute.
something about these sea turtles, these flippers, they almost look like a wing, like a bird.
Yeah, they do. And I'll show you. I'll put him in the water, and you can watch him swim around. He really is very graceful. He kind of moves like a bird in flight.
These little hooks here, is that a means of defense?
This is a little claw, maybe like a nail, and they use it to, when they grow up, for mating. The male actually attaches onto the female, and he uses it to hang on.
It doesn't look green. Why do they call them a green sea turtle?
Well, that's a good question. Actually, they're brown in color. Their shell color is brown. And the reason green sea turtles are called green sea turtles is because their body fat is green.
Huh.
So inside their bodies, they're green.
I'd love to see him swim. Does he swim fast?
Yeah, he'll probably scoot away pretty quickly here. So we'll just put E.T. in the water
All right.
and watch him swim away.
Good. Boy, he took a fast swim there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this little guy's going to have his freedom today.
Yeah, he sure is. But we have to do a couple things first. I'll be measuring him, and Steve will be tagging him. We
All
need
right.
to measure and tag him for the National Marine Fisheries records. So if you can just hold him there,
right.
I'm going to see how many centimeters he is.
At 130.
130.
All right.
Hey,
He's going to grow to be a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Now you get tagged. And this doesn't hurt. It's like clipping your fingernail, right?
Well, it's probably more like getting your ears pierced. How's
Okay.
that? So we're just gonna...
That tag tells him where he came from, who he is, everything.
Well, the tag actually says NMFS, which stands for the National Marine Fisheries Service, and it has a number on it. And this data goes into their data bank, so if the turtle is found anywhere in the world, we know when it was released, where it was released, when it was hatched, and so we can get growth data, migration data. You know, we can really know the history of the turtle.
I'm going to put him down.
Right here?
Yeah, so he has time to crawl a little bit. Well,
Does he automatically know where he's going?
Yeah, it's an instinct.
Oh, look at his little flipper marks. Here
Okay,
he
he's
goes.
gonna-
There he goes.
Yay! Hit the water.
Oh,
now he's
look at that.
scrambling.
Well, he really knows what to do. There
There
he
he
can
goes.
swim. Oh, that is neat. Now, will he hang around here for a few days?
No, he's going straight out to sea.
That's an awful big sea to go into.
He's got a long ways to go out in the ocean, and he has many predators out there, so I'm just hoping a shark or large fish doesn't snatch him up. Just got to think of the best, think positive. I feel really close to them, and so for me, just releasing them and helping the population increase.